Juan, I'm having internet issues. Can you hear me?
We can hear you, Mr. Youngblood.
Okay, thanks. I'll go back to mute then. I appreciate it.
Hear you too.
Good morning, everyone. This is the detention docket for the 323rd District Court for, I think this is Thursday, January 28, 2021. In compliance with the Texas Supreme Court Emergency Order number 33, we are not conducting in-person proceedings. However, we are going forward on Zoom. But to comply with Article 1, Section 13 of the Texas Constitution, we are broadcasting these proceedings on YouTube for the public to observe what happens inside a courtroom. No portion of this broadcast may be recorded, broadcast, or published. Violations of this order are punishable by contempt of court of up to 6 months in the Tarrant County Jail and a $500 fine. I'd like to remind everyone this is a court proceeding and you are expected to behave appropriately for court. That means please do not be laying in bed. Please be dressed appropriately. Do not be eating. Do not be drinking alcoholic beverages. Do not be smoking or using drugs, as one dad did. Please not use the restroom, lavatory. Do not take showers during court proceedings. Also, please do not have bright lights behind your head as that obscures your face because of the shadow. The court does expect everyone to have their camera on for you to view, to be seen. If you're simply here to observe, you may go to the YouTube channel where this is being broadcast. If you are an officer of the court, then you are excused from having the camera on. I understand you may have other official business to take care of. Also, please do not be in moving vehicles at the time. Even if you are not the driver, I do not want this hearing to be a distraction. Plus, the moving background is distracting to the other participants. All right, so Tawana Bell, please turn your camera on. All right, Ms. Bell, please turn your camera on. Second time. Ashley, are you in a moving car? Because it appears that you are. All right, you can't just turn your camera off. All right, Ashley, I'm going to ask you to turn your camera on or pull over on the side of the road where you're no longer in a moving car. Okay, Ashley, this is the third time. Please return back whenever you can pull over safely. All right, I'm going to go ahead and re-enable the waiting room. If you were late to court, you were late to court. Okay, so let's go with Luca Fry. Mr. Fry?
Yes, sir.
Right. Mr. Fry, I'm Judge Kim. This is a detention hearing. The law says when a child was brought to our facility, you have to see a judge within 2 business days and have to decide whether to keep you in custody or to release you. At keep you in custody, the law says you have to see a judge every 10 days while you're here. You have the right to remain silent. You have a right to an attorney. We have appointed Mr. Sierra as your attorney. So,
Yes, sir.
Luca, you're 16 years old. You had a case from December of an assault, family violence, which was dismissed. But that happened while you had a pending case for possession of a controlled substance under a gram. You placed on probation in July. When you're still on probation. So, all right, so a couple days ago, we issued a warrant for you, actually yesterday, for violating your probation. On Tuesday, there's a progress report saying probation asked for electronic monitors since I guess you're having problems. See, once you got home after the motion to modify probation for violating probation with the assault case, you were having problems complying with JJAP. You refused to turn your camera on, asking for more time out in class, refusing to log in for class altogether. So they kicked you out of online school because you refused to stay on your camera. Then January 16th, you left the house without permission, and you're arrested for violation of curfew and minor possession of a tobacco vape pen. So you're giving a citation. We had an administrative hearing to address this issue. We gave you a warning saying that if you kept up with your shenanigans, we would place you on electronic monitor. And you said, what happens if I don't? Good question. And the mom zoomed in from work, said that it appeared that Luca was playing video games during the meeting. So, and you refused to take your medication. We gave you a drug test and you positive for amphetamines. However, Danya, are you here? Ms. Lide?
Right here.
I guess his prescription would test positive for amphetamines probably?
It would, Your Honor, but when he came into detention back in December and was tested, Mom had reported that those several days before that, he was refusing to take medication. So that was not as a result of that medication. And when he came into detention yesterday, they had tried twice to give him UAs, and he said he couldn't provide a sample. So he's not been given a UA.
Okay, do we have a parent here?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, hello, Mom. All right, well, Mom, it just looks like Luca is too smart for the rest of us. And he's going to do what he wants to do. He thinks that there's no consequences for his decisions. So there's a consequence. Luca, when you get on probation, you're actually asking me for permission to leave you in the community and not send you to TJJD. That is based on a promise that you're actually going to follow the rules and do your probation. And so if you're refusing to do what you're supposed to do, what you promised me to do, then I just have to bring you back here. So I'm going to detain you for now. We'll see how you do on your behavior levels. We'll decide that if you made a change in attitude, that you deserve to go back to community to be at home, or if you just simply need to go to TJJD because there's no other options for you. All right. So I would start making good decisions if I were you. Thank you, Luca.
Yes, sir.
Brian Hemphill.
Judge.
Mr. Hemphill, I'm Judge Kim. This is a detention hearing. You've been here for 10 days. I'm reviewing your case, deciding whether to keep you in custody or to release you. If I keep you here, you have to see a judge every 10 days while you're here. You have the right to remain silent. You have a right to an attorney. Ms. Herrick is your attorney. Good morning, Ms. Herrick.
Good morning.
All right, so Brian, 16 years old. You are level 2 right now. Can I ask Ms. Smiley, why did you drop to level 2?
Yes, Your Honor. I spoke to detention operations manager this morning, and they said it was due to him continuing to horseplay and disrupt the program.
Okay, so not as only is he not taking care of his business, but he's keeping other people from taking care of their business. So, all right. Well, Brian, I'm looking at this now. You were here. This was a aggravated robbery case. And I guess you have a murder charge as well. I know I found probable cause to detain you before. Let's look at what you're doing since I originally detained you. I guess you cut off your monitor. Ms. Smiley cut off his monitor twice?
It has, since he's been with me, he's only cut it off once, but when he was with Officer Lemire, it came off twice.
Okay. All right. Well, Brian, you kind of proven to me that if I was to let you go, you just cut off your monitor again. One of the things I have to consider. Do we have a parent here for Mr. Hemphill?
Yes, sir. Miss Brittany Hemphill is on here.
Okay. All right. So, Mr. Hemphill, you've kind of burned your bridges. You've proven to me that if I let you go, you'll cut off your monitor. So I just can't trust that you'll return to court if I released you. So this is just a consequence of your decision. I'm going to go ahead and detain you. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. Ariana Howard.
Good morning.
Good morning, Ms. Howard. I'm Judge Kim. This is a detention hearing. When you're brought in, you have to see a judge within 2 days. I have to decide whether to keep you or release you. If I keep you here, you have to see a judge every 10 days while you're here. You have the right to remain silent. You have a right to an attorney. And we have appointed Ms. Jacobson as your attorney. Good morning, Julie.
Good morning, Your Honor.
Okay, so Ariana, you're 14 years old. Wow, this started when you're 12 with robbery cases which were refused by your intake. And you are Janet, you need to turn your microphone off. You're in court. Please be in court. Please don't be walking around.
Okay.
Ms. Powell, I'm going to remove you from this. You can stay still. You can't have a bright light behind your head, Ms. Powell. I said that at the beginning.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Mariana, 14, you were 13 with an evading arrest, which the DA waived the suit. You had all kinds of problems. What? Well, Mr. Booth, why did we, oh, she was on probation for the assault on a security officer.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Assaulted, all right. Well, Mariana, you are on probation now. Let's see. 2 days ago, we called from your mom saying she didn't know where you were since you didn't come home after tutoring. She told us you got kicked out of school for being caught in the restroom with a group of girls that were smoking weed, but went back to school for tutoring. Police, let's see, we told your mom that we would check the electronic monitor and your tutor. And since you were expelled from school, there was no tutoring. So I guess you lied to your mom about having to go to the tutor. So.
No, Your Honor, I believe that I did have the chance to speak with her mother this morning. Her mother was unable to verify whether she had gone to tutoring, but as a better backstory to what had happened, Ariana has a sister named China from her father's side. They're very close. Ariana had received some text messages that her sister had actually been shot. And so Ariana was, that she had, after tutoring, I believe, had left to find her sister as she perceived this as an emergency situation. She thought her sister's life was in danger. And I would like to point out that Ariana has not cut off her monitor, so probation should have been able to track her the entire way.
Okay, so did she tell her mother that she had to go to tutoring? And because the tutor's saying that there was no tutoring.
I'm not sure. I don't know if she got the text message about her sister before, during, or after tutoring happened. So my understanding is that it was probably right before tutoring.
All right, Ms. DeBoos, I have a, so she tested positive for weed, which is a problem. So Ms. DeBoos, I have a question. So do we track where she was via her electronic monitor?
Yes, sir. I'll send it in the email to Ms. Mary and Stephanie.
Oh, okay. Now let's see. It's curious.
Yes, yes, sir.
I don't, but do we track where she was when she violated the inclusion zone?
Those were all the places where she went to between that time.
It's not attached. Okay, so did she go to?
I saw a couple of places, Dollar Store, Wendy's, looked like the phone store. She went a lot of places before she went to see this sister who was allegedly shot.
Right, the sister was at the hospital, I guess?
And I'm not sure that that Ariana knew where she was, and that's why she was looking for her in those places.
All right, so Ms. Jacobson, I mean, I get if she went to the hospital because her sister got shot, or a medical clinic, or a doctor's office, I mean, that's legit. Even if she went to a residence because she was trying to see if, you know, she had to go to the hospital. But you don't go to a phone store or Wendy's or Dollar General looking for your shot sister. I mean, that's.
I'm confused, as I also had the opportunity to speak with her stepmother, who's actually her sister's mother. And so the stepmother also confirmed the story. My understanding is that China, it was unclear to Ariana at the time whether China had actually been shot or whether it was just a graze, and that that would have led her to be somewhere else. I know that I believe the residence at which China was shot was at her maternal grandmother's house. And so that might have factored into it.
So Ms. Jacobson, my point is you can't have it both ways. Either she was in fear that her sister was grievously injured and she had to violate the order of the court, which I would excuse if she generally had that concern, or she just didn't know and that's why she ran some errands because she didn't know. I mean, see, it's her state of mind. But I mean, you see where I'm at. You can't have it both ways.
My only concern is I obviously can't see the location she was at. I don't know where those locations were and what residence it was next to.
Right.
I do see that Miss Howard would like to add something, and I don't know if she would like to let you know how those locations played in.
Well, I mean, do you want her to speak? It's up to you. I don't know what she wants to say. Ariana, usually I don't like you to tell me things. If you had questions, I'm always okay with you asking me a question. Your attorney may want you to say something to me. I don't know. I'm going to let you know now that even if you have 100% legitimate excuse for violating the EM, the fact that you're positive for marijuana while you're on probation, I'm going to detain you today. Okay, you can't smoke weed while you're on probation. Now, what changes things is if you have a valid excuse for violating your EM, because if it's just smoking weed, probably let you out sooner. But if it's violating your EM, that gives me bigger concern. So do you have a question for me? Okay, what's your question?
I don't have no question. I was trying to tell you
Okay,
something.
whoa. I asked if you have a question for me. You said yes, and now you say I don't have no question. So do you have a question for me?
Yeah, I got a question.
Okay, what's your question?
How is it that like I'm not like y'all saying that like I was a whole bunch of places, but when I called my it was late, so I didn't call my probation officer. I didn't have no phone, but I knew I could call up here to see like tell them what was going on, but then nobody answered the phone. I was going to tell you something, but I was trying to tell you that I did call up here to make sure that I wouldn't get in trouble, but did nobody answer. And I couldn't do it in the morning because the police was already there to come get me, and I wasn't going to put up a fight with them. I was just
Yeah.
gonna wait.
So here's the thing: if you legitimately said, "Look, my sister shot or my stepsister shot, I have to go because she could die." I mean, I have a heart. I understand that. I get that, and I wouldn't hold that against you. But there's no way that you seriously think your sister may not make it and go to the phone store.
Your Honor, I can give you my turn of events.
Yes.
Mom called me around 6 and said that she could not get a hold of Ariana and asked me did I know where she was. I told her I would check with the EM team. Mr. Scott didn't get with me till the next morning. Before that, Mom called back around 7 and said that Ariana was stranded at a store with a friend and she was going to go and look for her. This is my first time ever hearing about the sister being shot. Mom, to her knowledge, said Ariana went back to school for tutoring. That's why I reached out to the tutor who told me that nothing happened.
Mr. Bose, that's my concern is she told her mom she's going to tutoring when tutoring was canceled for being expelled for smoking weed while she's on probation.
Oh.
So I mean, we've got other issues going on here. So why don't we do this? Mr. Bose, at this point, let's go ahead and get kind of a printout of the location she was while she violated her EM. I'm telling you now, Ariana, the best thing you have working for you is that you did not cut off your monitor. Because now we can go back, see where you were, how long you spent at each location, and see how reasonable it was. If you cut off your monitor, then it would be a while before I release you. Right now, if everything is kind of reasonable, given the circumstances, I'm okay releasing you, but there is a consequence for you smoking weed while you're on probation. Okay, Ariana, do you have a question for me, or do you want to tell me something?
I got a question.
Okay, what's your question?
So I didn't get kicked out.
That doesn't sound like a question, Ariana.
It is a question. I was just telling you so it can make sense. It's a question though. I didn't get kicked out of school. I can go back to school, but I got an STA test for me to pass my classes. Do you think I can, since I'm getting detained, can somebody bring it up here so I won't fail? Because them the only tests I can do to bring my grades up since I don't have no credits right now. So they was gonna give me a test to do.
What? You need a test to pass your classes?
Yeah, not to pass my classes, but pass this semester so I can pass the rest of the year so I can have credits. It's a test, it's an STA test.
It's part of her 504 program through the educational system.
Right. Mr. Bose, you want to talk to her, talk to the school and find out and give me a recommendation?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I'll defer to what Mr. Bose thinks is appropriate. I'm gonna go with that. I'm letting you know, Ariana, it may work out for you. It may not. I'm not, my thing is there's a consequence. If passing your semester and doing well in school is so important to you, I'm not sure why you'd be testing positive for marijuana. Okay? So obviously it wasn't that important to you. So do you have another question?
Yeah, for my substance phone.
I'm sorry?
Oh, the phones I got. But for my program, I had already tested positive for marijuana, so I thought that my probation officer already knew that. But I think it been like 3 days, so I
Doesn't
also
sound
be.
like a question though.
It is a question. I'm asking him, like, I don't think I'm positive for weed.
You're positive for weed.
Oh. Can I take another drug test? Because I think today was the last day. Because my probation officer already knew that.
Don't be proud of that. I didn't know it.
I'm not proud of it.
I didn't know it until today.
I'm not proud of it.
So that your probation officer, I trust these probation officers. Sometimes they use their own discretion, and I'm okay with that. They've been doing this for a long time. But when I find out, things are different. So sometimes they'll work with you and let you get away with a little bit because they feel like you're making good progress. But if it comes to me and I find out you're smoking weed while you're on probation for me, I'm not happy. Like, all y'all know that too. You know, if you're on probation, you're not supposed to smoke weed.
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. Samuel Nishimirimana.
You have something on, bro.
All right, Samuel, I'm Judge Kim. This is a detention hearing. You've been here for 10 days. I'm deciding whether to keep you or release you. If I keep you, you have to see a judge every 10 days while you're here. You have the right to remain silent. You have a right to an attorney. Mr. Lofton has been appointed as your attorney. So
Good morning.
Samuel, good morning, Mr. Lofton. So you have no history with this department, and then all of a sudden, May of last year, you get arrested for burglary of a vehicle and theft of a firearm. And then we had a problem, so we issued a warrant for you in October, and we let you go. That is May 11th. Fort Worth PD was contacted by a victim saying that a firearm was stolen from his vehicle. You were caught on security camera, and he recognized you as somebody he had hired to do yard work before. And so, all right, so we detained you for a while because you had a gun, and then I guess one of the judges decided to let you go for a bit because you were behaving. Then January 2nd, Fort Worth PD brought you in. Police met with the victim, says cleaning out his vehicle, saw 2 young black males walk past his house, then turned around, walked toward him, and when he told y'all to leave, one of them pulled his pistol from his side jacket, told him to open the vehicle. The victim refused. The armed suspect pulled back the slide, chambered a bullet, and told him to open the vehicle again. The victim did so. 2 people entered the vehicle, and your vehicle was caught on camera. There was a car chase, jumped a median, hit a pole, wrecked the vehicle. And I believe, Samuel, you leapt from the passenger seat, fled on foot, and when you were caught, you had a Smith & Wesson .40 caliber pistol on the floorboard where you had been sitting. And we had issued a warrant for you because you failed to appear for court. And you're only level 1 acceptable. All right, well, Samuel, you're not level 1 outstanding, so I'm not releasing you. Do we have a parent here for Samuel?
No, sir, we don't. I did not get in touch with Mother about this morning's hearing, but did tell her about the 10-day that would be due at his last 10-day.
Okay, that's fine. So, okay, so you're not level 1 outstanding, so you know I'm not going to release you. And if I was to ever consider releasing you, I am concerned about the fact that you already skipped court once, and that while you had a pending case for stealing a gun, you get caught, well, allegedly robbing somebody else with a gun. And so I think, you know, my policy when kids have guns, I'm deeply concerned. I don't release them at the beginning. I wait. And if I'm ultimately very comfortable releasing you, then I will release you. But if you're level 1 acceptable, I'm not comfortable with it. It's going to take a while for you to prove to me that you deserve to be released, that you will show back up at court, and that you're not going to be a danger to the community. You're not going to be a danger to yourself. So Samuel, I see your hand is raised. If you want to tell me something, your attorney does not want you to talk. But if you want to ask me a question, I think your attorney is okay with you asking a question.
Yes, sir.
Okay, Samuel, do you have a question for me, or do you want to tell me something?
I got a question.
Okay, what's your question?
Can y'all please give my mom, my attorney, and my PO phone number?
Can I get, that's not a question for me. That's a question for your probation officer, okay? All right, thank you, Samuel. Jordan Saunders. All right, do we have Jordan Saunders?
Coming, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Saunders, I'm Judge Kim. This is a 10-day hearing. In deciding whether to release you or keep you in custody, if I release you, you have to see a judge every 10 days. I'm sorry, if I keep you here, you have to see a judge every 10 days while you're here. You don't have a right to remain silent. You have a right to an attorney. Ms. Taylor is your attorney. I believe I saw your father here on Zoom earlier. So, let's see, back around Thanksgiving, Mansfield was called, suspicious person call when a person with a backpack triggered a Ring doorbell, ran off the property. We patrolled the area, found occupants inside, 2 suspects fled on foot, later apprehended, identified as Jordan and Jonathan. So they found some stolen products inside the car. Victim identified the stolen merchandise work tablet. So one of the suspects said that they were all involved in checking vehicles for property. You're almost 17 years old. You're on probation for theft of property already. And then you refuse to give us a UA. Mr. Jennings, did we ever get a hair follicle test?
Yes, Your Honor, we did. It was negative for all substances.
All substances, good. Okay, so you're set for a probation violation hearing on February 18th. You are level 1 outstanding. You have been so for 2 weeks. Mr. Jennings, how far did Jordan Saunders drop in behavior?
Your Honor, he dropped to level 1 acceptable 4 different times.
Okay. All right, so just kind of Microsoft. All right, so then my next question is, do we have, I know we had Dad here, but Dad lives in California, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, do we have a parent locally here?
His mother does live locally. I have a rather hard time getting in touch with her majority of the time. Because,
I'm here.
Okay, so Monica, your mom?
Yes, I'm mother.
Okay, great. So do you live here in the North Texas area?
Yes.
Okay, and legally, who actually has conservatorship or possession of this child?
I have full custody.
Have full custody, okay. All right. Okay, so Mom, my question for you then is, have you been talking to Jordan while he's been here?
Yes, I have.
Have you noticed a change in attitude?
Yes, I have.
Do you think it's appropriate at this point to try and give him a chance to come home?
I believe so. Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. Well, then let's go ahead and do that. Jordan, I'm going to go, you've made an effort to get the level 1 outstanding, and you've made the effort to hold it. And so I'm going to go ahead and give you a chance, right? You need to take the same skills that you used here at Kimbo to show that you can follow the rules, that you can comply with instructions, that you can comply with instructions in a timely manner, that you can observe the do not associate restrictions, that you can be respectful, not use foul language. All these things that you did here at Kimbo, I am expecting you to do that in your mom's home. That means your mom says clean up your room. You cannot wait. You cannot be slow to comply. You need to do it when she tells you to. If she tells you to do the dishes, take out the garbage, clean the cat box. I don't care what it is, but you need to think of her as kind of a loving detention officer, if that makes sense, all right? But also that do not associate matters too. If she tells you, I don't like that person you're hanging out with, then you know what, you need to follow that. If we find out, if your mom calls us and says you are breaking the rules of her house and disrespecting her, then we will just issue a warrant and bring you back here and we can start over again. All right, so Jordan, either you can be a level 1 outstanding here or you can be a level 1 outstanding at home, right? You're asking me for a chance to do it at home, right?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, so we're gonna go every chance. I'm gonna put you on electronic monitor at this time because I'm concerned about your evening activities as the offense report lists. And then, after about 30 days, we'll figure out if you're not breaking the rules and mom says you've changed your heart and your attitude, then we'll take that monitor off. I don't have a problem. All right, this is just for the beginning, just for you to prove to me that I made the right decision in releasing you, okay?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mom, do you have any questions for me?
No, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Corian Titus.
Yes, sir.
All right, Mr. Titus, I'm Judge Kim. This is a detention hearing. I'm making the decision to keep you in custody or to release you. By keeping you in custody, the law says you have to see a judge every 10 days while you're here. You do have a right to remain silent. You have a right to an attorney. Ms. Taylor is your attorney. All right, so Corey, you've been here for almost 60 days. The Fort Worth PD brought the traffic stop in December, smelled weed from the vehicle. Everyone was removed. Behind the front passenger seat, they found a backpack that had 2 firearms. And evidently you had a warrant for you. It was back in September. There was a shooting call. Police responded, found a victim who was shot, transported to JPS where he was pronounced deceased. Neighbor gave description of the vehicle. They also found several 9mm casings in the street. And let's see, witness said vehicle drove by the victim's house, fired several shots, hit the victim and fled. So there was real-time cameras nearby, found the vehicle owner. And the day of shooting, saw boyfriend in the back of the suspect's car. Saw Trayvon Davis driving the vehicle and Decory in the front passenger seat. And that was actually caught on camera anyways. So, and witness said that Teray and Decorian shot the victim. And all are members of the Blood Gang. You're positive for weed when you're brought in. All right, so Mr. Titus, you understand, I've told you this before. Do we have a parent? Yeah, we have a parent here. Anytime a child's brought in that is in possession or around a firearm, I always detain them. Not always, but most of the time I detain them because I just want to slow down and make sure it's safe for the community and the child to release the child. The fact that all this reports put you in the immediate vicinity of the weapon and somebody places the weapon in your hand and that resulted in the death of another human, it gives me great concern. So you need to be patient. It's a process. It's not an immediate effect. I have to be convinced if I release you. Now I have released children that are here for homicide, murder and capital murder, but it takes a while to do it because I have to be absolutely confident that another person's life is not in danger if I was to release you. Okay?
Yes, sir.
So I hope you understand where I'm going. I hope you understand why I'm slow about releasing kids that are charged with homicides. Okay?
Yes, sir.
Charged with anything involving a gun. All right. Thank you, Mr. Titus.
I love you, Mama.
We have Lorenzo Bird.
Your Honor, mother is not present today. I was unable to reach her. Her mother's cousin is here. No one can locate the mom at this point. So the mother's cousin is here.
Okay.
Sharon is her name.
Okay, well, good. All right, so Mr. Bird, I'm Judge Kim. This is a detention hearing. The law says when a kid's brought to our facility, you have to see a judge within 2 days. I have to decide whether to keep you here or release you. If I keep you here, the law says you have to see a judge every 10 days while you're here. You do have a right to remain silent. You have a right to an attorney. We have appointed Ms. Herrick as your attorney for the time being. All right, Mr. Bird, you're 14 years old. You were here last year in December for evading arrest on foot, which our probation department gave you a supervisory caution. Told you to go and sin no more. So yesterday you were brought in by Halton Police Department. They were dispatched to Northern Cross Apartments. A witness said about 8:30 she heard stomping noise, something banging against the wall for about 5 minutes. She thought it was the neighbors and thought nothing of it. 9:30, she was leaving her apartment, saw a female laying on the ground and a pool of blood underneath her head and called the police. During the investigation, 2 witnesses described seeing 2 young males in the area. Police located the victim's phone at the Mercantile Square Apartments. So surveillance footage nearby showed 2 suspects. Police received information on the suspects, including their names, and we're told one was trying to leave town. So curiously, police set up a fake Uber ride for the suspects. Clever. When the 2 suspects went in the vehicle, SWAT apprehended them, and during During custodial interrogation, they said they planned to steal the victim's vehicle when they grabbed the victim and began to assault her. They couldn't find the keys, so one of the two stabbed the victim in the neck, and the knife had broken during the stabbing. All right, Mr. Bird, at this point, I'm very concerned about the safety of the community. If I was to release you, I wish that our experience last year for the evading arrest was a wake-up call for you, but it seems like you continue to hang out with people that you shouldn't be. I don't know what happened in this case, but we do have camera that put you, let me see that again. All right, so Ms. Paxton, can you tell me, I'm seeing this report, how did they link Mr. Bird with the suspects? Like, I see that they knew the names, I just don't know how they found out what their names were.
Right.
Judge, I think I can assist you with some of that information.
You're not entitled, this has to come from probation. Ms. Paxton, are you getting close? You're on mute.
There was a photo lineup done. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay, I thought you were looking.
I've been sitting here talking to you and
okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's a photo lineup?
Yes.
From who identified? Was it the witness?
No, it was not the witness. It was someone who had knowledge of the two suspects.
Okay, so how did they have knowledge that they were, I need a causal link to the offense.
Okay.
So I have these kids, I have an offense. I just don't know how these two or this child is linked to the offense.
Judge, could I direct her to a portion of a police? I mean, I'm not going to speak to the facts, but I can direct her to where the facts are.
No, that's fine, Mr. Reed.
Okay, I have something here. There were videos located where the suspects walked west on Tanner Cross and looked uncomfortable. And then the officer was familiar with a few teenage suspects that lived in the Mercantile Square apartments due to a prior arrest in July of 2020. He used juvenile tech share to look up those subjects and verify what school they attended. They were zoned to attend Chisholm Trail. They called Chisholm Trail. The officer at Chisholm Trail. Okay, Zane, what page did you have?
Start reading the third paragraph on page 26 of 36.
Okay. The paragraph regarding Esteban Hernandez.
Do you have the Haltom City Police Report?
I do.
And in the top right corner, is that page 26 of 36?
Yes.
Okay, the paragraph that says I later met.
Okay. Oh, that's the one. That is the one who identified in the photo line. He was a potential witness that he had seen them together earlier in the week. And he said he could identify them in a photo lineup, and he did so.
Identified them earlier in the week, or?
No, he took him to the police department. He talked with him at the police department. He had seen them earlier in the week. And
in the area?
Yes.
But, I mean, does that relate back to the date of the offense?
No. I'm not sure.
And then the paragraph right below that as well, Ms. Paxton, will give you some further details.
There was also a DEA agent in the Chicago area. And he had a confidential informant that was proven to be reliable. He provided information, including the name of the suspect. He gave the name of Zachariah Marshall. They looked Marshall up in their reporting system, noticed that they had dealt with him recently. They did a three-way call. The informant had been used by various agencies and had been proven to provide accurate information, provided details regarding the homicide that had not been released to the public, and only an involved person would know, including the manner of death and weapon use, and the location of the injury to the victim. According to him, the suspect contacted an associate of his wanting to be relocated out of the area. He gave details.
All right, Ms. Herrick, I mean, it's not as clean as I'd like it. I think at the end of the day, they did confess, or really, according to JPD, they're saying that at the juvenile processing facility that they both admitted to their conduct. I mean,
Wait, say that again. You're saying that they admitted to the police?
right. When they were during they went to the juvenile processing facility in front of a judge for the admission. So
I have no idea if the custodial interrogation was done correctly, and I still don't know how the police got to them to bring them to the juvenile processing facility anyway. Like there was a confidential informant, but how did that confidential informant know anything? What did that confidential informant say? Like, I have no idea how they got to the point where they were even interviewed.
Ms. Herrick, I absolutely 100% agree with the potential problems here, but for detention hearing purposes, it's about probable cause. And so as long as it's articulable that there was a reliable confidential informant that gave their information, identified them, and that they actually went in front of a magistrate for the purposes of the custodial interrogation, I think we're at PC, but I think there's definitely, I mean, I see the same problems that you do. All right, so Mr. Bird. Yes.
Sorry, I still don't understand how the confidential informant identified them. Was it by name? Is that the person who showed the photo lineup?
Ms. Paxton?
I a lot of questions.
Ms. Paxton, you're on mute.
The informant had an associate that was contacted by one of the juveniles, it doesn't say which one, who was wishing to relocate. And he knew details about the homicide that weren't known to the public.
The confidential informant's associate knew details?
Yes, because
okay,
whoever it was.
Okay, here's my question. How did the confidential informant know Lorenzo Bird's name and his companion's name? Or so he's got some details about this assault, but like, how did the police then connect the dots to get to my client?
I don't know.
Your Honor, could I just object and ask the court to make a ruling on if there's been a showing of probable cause by the probation department?
Right. And so, Ms. Herrick, I mean, even if like I understand, I have deep concerns, but at the end of the day, if everything was removed and it was simply the police brought them in front of a judge, proper child was admonished, and the child made the admission, I mean, we have enough for PC there with everything else.
The custodial interrogation was done correctly, and I have no evidence that the custodial interrogation was done correctly.
That would be an issue for trial, not for a detention hearing. Right? So, because, I mean, you can still have probable cause, you know, even like for adult crimes. You can have probable cause to effect an arrest, even if there was an illegal search and seizure. Even if there was you waterboarded somebody for the confession, that's enough for the arrest. It doesn't mean it's going to stick, though. Right? So, I mean, I see your argument, and it is not lost on me, but we're talking purely about PC at this point for detention or no detention. So, the court will find that there is probable cause for the detention of this child, but there may be I think there are other issues. Mr. Bird, your attorney, she's getting on to some points. She can explain to you later on what's going on. Right now, I just have to find probable cause, which means can a person articulate? That means put into words certain statements that, if they were true, would be an offense against the laws of the state. And the answer is yes to that. So at this point, because of the severity of the offense you're accused of, I'm going to go ahead and detain you at this point. All right. Thank you, Mr. Bird.
Zane, will you make that texture evidence available to me, please?
Will do.
Thank you.
The carrier marshal.
Good morning, Your Honor.
Good morning. Hello, Mr. Reyes. So, carrier, this is a detention hearing. The law says when a kid's brought to our facility, you have to see a judge within 2 days. I have to decide whether to keep you here or to release you. If I keep you here, the law says you have to see a judge every 10 days while you're here. You do have a right to remain silent. You have a right to an attorney. Ms. Taylor has been appointed as your attorney.
Oh, right, so I thought I was, Judge.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, Ms. Keenan. Sorry. You're correct. Oh, so you and Ms. Herrick have companion cases.
Correct. And obviously I have the same concerns after hearing the report as to how we have any causation to have my client in custody.
Right. Okay. Well, Mr. Marshall, you're 14 years old and you are currently on probation for burglary of a vehicle, which you were placed on while you were on probation for evading arrest with a motor vehicle. Mr. Reyes, did we give him a drug test?
Your Honor, yes, sir. He tested positive for marijuana this morning.
Okay. All right. So, Mr. Marshall, what I have here, this is the companion case to Mr. Bird with Haltom City, with the, I guess, North Cross Apartments. There was a female that was found stabbed to death, and You were magistrated by Judge Irby. All right, and you're positive for marijuana. Ms. Keenan, just aside from the concerns you have about the case, the fact that he's on probation and positive for marijuana, I mean, I know that's sufficient for me to detain him on its own. We have a parent here.
Do we have a, yeah, it looks like mom's in the room.
Mom, do you know where he's getting the weed from?
No.
No, okay. So just fill you in, Mom. The companion case of this came up right before you came to the courtroom. I don't know if you saw it on the broadcast in the hallway or not, but evidently there were cameras that showed your son and another person leaving the scene, an eyewitness identified a photo lineup. And so there's due to the severity of the offense and the nature of the offense, I'm going to go and detain your son, and we'll just go from here and see. You do, both your son and his companion case both have very good attorneys, and so please stay in contact with the attorney. She will have questions for you and maybe need you to get some information to help her in her defense, okay?
Yes. And Zane, can you go ahead and open that up to me as well, please?
Thank you, Your Honor. May I be dismissed?
Yes, have a good day, Mr. Reyes.
Have a good day, sir. Thank you.
So now we have Keith Page.
Give us 1 second, sir. Take your
And Your Honor, I don't have a parent for Mr. Page here today.
Okay.
She indicated that she didn't have a car and that she didn't know how to work Zoom, and it's a grandmother.
What was the last thing you said, Ms. Rojas?
It's the grandmother who they reside with, who Mr. Page resides with.
Okay. All right, Mr. Page, I'm Judge Kim. This is a detention hearing. The law says when a kid's brought to a facility, you have to see a judge within 2 days. I have to decide whether to keep you here or to release you. If I keep you here, you have to see a judge every 10 days while you're here. You do have a right to remain silent. You have a right to an attorney. We have appointed Mr. Gladstone as your attorney on this matter. All right, so Mr. Page, you're 14 years old. You have no history with this department. This is, all right, so on the 27th, police were dispatched to a QT gas station. There was an Arlington police officer who was just off duty. Victim said he stopped at the QT to get gas. When he was pumping gas, the vehicle pulled up next to the pump. There was a driver and the driver's side back passenger get out of the vehicle. Driver and driver back. The driver approached from behind, struck him in the face several times. The driver's side back passenger then put a gun to the victim's head and demanded the wallet. Suspect took his wallet and phone and fled the scene. Officer then drew his weapon on the suspects but did not fire. 1 p.m., Dallas PD notified Arlington PD they had stopped the suspect vehicle and detained 4 juveniles, 3 males and 1 female. Suspects reported to police that Keith, you were driving the vehicle. They saw the victim getting gas. It was Keith's turn to do a lick, so they stopped at the pump next to the victim. Keith got out, struck the victim, and I guess the female had the gun. Another passenger, Amari, jumped in the driver's seat after the robbery, and then the 2 people that got out jumped in the back seat, and Amari drove off. And Kelton was in the front passenger seat. There was a admission that the vehicle was stolen about 3 o'clock in the morning, and there was another admission that there were several other robberies earlier that morning. And a gun was found in the vehicle where Leo was sitting. And there's no other information about the gun. Because where does, Ms. Rojas, where does this child live?
Dallas County, Your Honor.
Okay. Have we searched JCMS to see if he has prior Dallas County history?
He doesn't have any history.
All right. All right. Well, Mr. Page, I'm going to let you know. You and I have not met before. We said Ms. Rojas' mom is not here, correct?
Grandmother isn't here.
Grandmother is not here. Yeah, Mr. Page, we have not met before. You live in Dallas County, but I need to let you know that I do have kind of, it's not a hard rule, but it's a policy. And when a child's brought in on an offense that involves a firearm, whether you're just in possession of it or whether you actually use the firearm, that I detain the child. I need to be absolutely certain that the community is safe before I release a child. I am a strong supporter of the Second Amendment and guns. I love guns. I just hate children who have guns that are unsupervised by adults. And so that gives me the greatest pause. I'm going to continue to detain you. We will see at the next 10-day hearing whether you are behaving in a way that convinces me that it's safe to release you to the community or if I need to continue to detain you. All right. So If you're not a level 1 outstanding here, I will not consider releasing you. If you are a level 1 outstanding, I'm not saying I'm going to release you. I'm saying that actually gets the conversation started. Then there's a bunch of other factors I have to consider. Okay? All right. Thank you, Mr. Page. Next, we have Amari Brooks.
Your Honor, I will mention father is here in person, and I sent the link to mother to 2 email addresses, but I don't see either of them on the Zoom link.
Okay.
I'll also mention that I saw a Dallas probation officer on the Zoom link earlier. I don't know if she's here for Amari or not. I know he is actually on supervision in Dallas County.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll get back to you in just a second, Mr. Lewis. All right, Amari, I'm Judge Kim. This is a detention hearing. When a kid's brought in, you have to see a judge within 2 days. I have to decide whether to keep you here or to release you. If I keep you here, the law says you have to see a judge every 10 days while you're here. You do have a right to remain silent. You have a right to an attorney. If you cannot afford an attorney, we'll provide one for you. The attorney appointed to your case is Ms. Lakeisha Smith. All right, so Mr. Brooks, you just turned 14 years old. And oh, okay, so this is the companion case. Off-duty police officer pumping gas. Car pulled up. Driver came out. Backseat passenger came out. Struck him. Took his wallet and phone. Let's see. Second suspect put a gun to the back of his head. And the person in the driver's seat took his phone. Third suspect exited the vehicle. When they got control of the phone and wallet, 3 people got back in the vehicle. And at that point, the victim drew his weapon as they left on Division Street. And so the robbery was called out to dispatch. Responding officers, there are injuries to his jawline and neck area. 1 o'clock in the afternoon, Dallas Police Department found the vehicle and conducted a traffic stop. The occupants admitted to their participation. Amari was a getaway driver. And so the vehicle was admitted to be stolen. You're currently on supervision in Dallas County for unlawfully carrying a weapon and burglary of a vehicle from 2019 and 2020, possession of marijuana under 2 ounces, and 2 counts of robbery in Dallas County. And so, yes, Mr. Brooks, I am convinced. So here's my thing. I need to let you know we haven't met before, but my policy, it's not a rule, but my policy is that when a child's brought in on offense involving a gun, that I detain the child because my duty is to make sure that the community is safe and the child is safe if I was to release you. So when guns are involved, I'm very concerned and I always slow down and detain the children at the beginning. Later on, I'll make a decision whether I want to release you or not. Now, that being said, the fact that you have pending cases for robbery in Dallas County, that gives me great concern to the community if I was to release you. It's highly unlikely that I'll be releasing you, but if I do, it's not going to happen unless you're level 1 outstanding. We have our behavior levels here. If you get to level 1 outstanding, I will actually start to consider releasing you. If you're not level 1 outstanding, I will not release you. You will go straight from here, probably to TJJD if you can't get your behavior level up. Because if you're not level 1 outstanding, I probably won't even get you probation. All right.
Yes,
so just to let you know, and I'm not saying give up hope. I'm saying you need to do your part to help your attorney make the best case possible for you. But the fact that you are pending cases, you're on probation out of Dallas for a gun case, and you have pending robbery cases out of Dallas. Now you've decided to come to Tarrant County and cause problems. I'm deeply concerned about the citizens of Tarrant County. Okay. All right. Thank you, Mr. Brooks. All right.
Thank you.
Leah Jenkins.
Right here, Judge Kim.
All right. Hello, Ms. Jenkins. I'm Judge Kim. This is a detention hearing. The law says when a kid's brought to our facility, you have to see a judge within 2 business days. I have to decide whether to keep you or release you. If I keep you here, you have to see a judge every 10 days while you're here. You do have a right to remain silent, and you have the right to an attorney. We have appointed Ms. Barrows as your attorney. Ms. Barrows, are you here? I don't think I've seen her.
She said she was doing mediation today.
I understand. So, Mr. Houston, I'm going to ask you to pinch hit for Ms. Barrows. Leah, your attorney is unable to make it because of a conflict, but Mr. Houston is here to advise you if you have any questions for your attorney. Leah, you're 14, you just turned 14 this week. And for the offense you're looking at, I need to let you know that you could be certified as an adult. You're looking at, if you are, 5 to 99 or life. Yes, ma'am?
No, Mama, don't. Excuse me, sir. I did not have the gun on me.
Oh, hold on. So here's the thing. If you want to ask me a question, I don't mind if you ask a question. If you want to tell me something, I really want you to stop. I don't want you to put yourself in a spot, okay? That's a conversation you need to have with your attorney. Your attorney can tell you if that's something you want to talk about or not, but you have to understand there is a district attorney that is sitting in on the Zoom session taking notes. So
Yes, sir.
anything that you say, they're going to take notes on and try and use that to build a case on you, okay? So please don't do that to yourself. I'm not the opposition, right? I'm here to protect your rights and protect the DA's rights and make sure everything goes the way it's supposed to, okay? All right. So I need to let you know, though, that at 14 years old, when the offense is committed, that is, for this type of offense, you could be certified as an adult. If that was to happen, you're potentially looking at 5 to 99 years in prison, okay? Now, I will say on this one that you kind of mentioned that you didn't have the gun. This is the one with the Arlington police officer that was off duty at the gas station. The driver got out, passenger got out, and pointed a gun, hit him, took his phone and wallet in a stolen car, and drove off, was found in Dallas. All right. Aaliyah, there is something in Texas called the law of parties. And the law of parties is, that means if anybody, if any group of people plan, commit, or benefit from a crime together, they're all guilty of the same crime. So for example, if let's say me, your attorney, Mr. Houston, and your mom decide that we're going to go rob a bank, okay? And then I'm just a getaway driver. Your mom goes in and robs the bank, right? Well, if I'm the getaway driver because I helped commit the crime, I'm just as guilty. Let's say Mr. Houston said he just helped plan it at the beginning, right? And told us what bank to go to and when they had the money. Even though he wasn't there, he would still be guilty of the bank robbery because he helped plan it, right? So anytime people either plan it, commit it, or benefit from it. So let's say, I don't know, let's say another one of the, let's say your probation officer, right, Ms. Guerrero. Let's say she's the one, she knew the money was stolen from the bank and she took it and bought herself a purse. She could also be guilty of the bank robbery because she benefited from the crime, knowing that it was from a crime. Okay, so I just need to let you know how the laws work in Texas. Even though you may not have planned it, you may not have participated, you may not have committed it, but if you did any one of those three, you could also be guilty of the same offense, okay? Just trying to explain the law to you so you understand that you are actually potentially in a lot of trouble. Now, Ms. Guerrero, she's from Dallas County. She has a runaway referral. Does she have any history with the juvenile probation department in Dallas?
Just the runaway referral, sir.
Just a runaway, okay?
Yes,
How extensive was her runaway history?
just the one referral.
Okay, was she on runaway status when this happened?
It does not mention that on the report, and I am just now meeting mother through Zoom.
Okay. Your mom?
Yes, I am.
Hello, Mom. So when did she run away?
I never put in a report of her running away. So I don't know where y'all got
So so you're saying she's never run away before?
No.
Okay. All right. Okay. Well, Aaliyah, I need to let you know that my policy is that when a child is brought in for an offense that involves a gun, I always detain the child. I need to be safe to know that if I was to release you, that you're not a danger to yourself or a danger to the community. I hope you know at one point, the victim of the crime that you're accused of committing had a pistol pointed at your vehicle. So any one of you four could have been shot by the victim. And so I think you should be grateful that that gun was never fired. So at this point, what you can do is you can get your behavior level up to 1 outstanding. That will get me to consider at that point whether I should release you or not. I'm not even considering at this point. Okay, I'm going to detain you because a gun was involved in this offense. We will decide in the future what your behavior level is like, your history, the other circumstances, and then make a decision then. I'm not promising I will let you go at level 1 outstanding. What I'm saying is I'm not considering it until you get to level 1 outstanding. Okay, does that make sense? What you need to do is get your behavior level up to give your attorney a reason to fight for you on why you should get probation and not go to TJJD, or why I should release you while this case is going on. Okay? Do you have any questions for me? Don't tell me anything, but if you have a question for me, I'll answer your question.
Okay. No, I don't have any.
Okay. All right. Your attorney, Ms. Barros, will be contacting you. Thank you, Aaliyah.
Love you.
I love you too, Mom.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you, Ms. Guerrero. So at this point, Texas Family Code states that all court proceedings are supposed to be public or open to the public. However, when a child is under 14 years of age, the court shall close the hearing to the public unless the court finds that the interest of the child or the interest of the public would be better served by opening the hearing to the public. Because of the publicity regarding these 4 children, the 3 previous and the following one, and the upcoming child is under 14 years old, the court will make a finding that the interests of the public are better served by opening the hearing to the public. All right, so we're ready for Kelton Page. All right, hello, Mr. Page. I'm Judge Kim. This is a detention hearing. The law says when a kid's brought to our facility, you have to see a judge within 2 days. I have to decide whether to keep you in custody or to release you. If I keep you here, the law says that you must see a judge every 10 days while you're here. You do have a right to remain silent. You have a right to an attorney. Mr. Shaw has been appointed as your attorney. All right, so Mr. Page, you are almost 13 years old and they were dispatched. This is the police officer off duty at the QT in Arlington. That a car pulled up, 2 people got out, struck the off-duty officer and took his wallet and phone. And let's see, evidently the witness says that you were in the front passenger seat, so you were just there. But evidently your brother admitted to stealing the vehicle earlier in the day. Witness places the gun in the female's hands and Amari is the getaway driver. Okay.
Sir.
So who's talking to me?
Kelton, you don't need to make any comments. Is this your lawyer? You don't need to make any comment. I'll talk to you later.
Right. So Kelton, here's the thing. There's a district attorney that's watching this. There's actually multiple district attorneys watching this, and they're taking notes. So if you say something, they're going to take these notes. I don't want you to put yourself in a spot. Okay. I'm not the enemy here. I'm here to make sure the law's followed. I don't have a dog in the hunt. I just want to make sure the law's followed. So I don't want you to put yourself in a worse situation. If you have a question for me, I'm happy to answer it. But if you want to tell me a story, this is not your trial. This is not about what you did, when you did it, how you did it, anything about that. This is about letting you go or keeping you here. Does that make sense to you?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So I just need to make sure you understand I'm not the opposition here. Okay. I'm just following the law. So Kelton, what the witness places you as just a passenger to the seat that's not necessarily did anything wrong, okay? But you have to understand what the law of parties is in Texas, is that anybody participates in a crime, whether it's the planning, committing the crime, or benefiting from the crime, that they're all guilty of the same crime, okay?
Yes, sir.
And so the fact that you're placed in this car at the time of the crime and then later on in the day, stolen car, gun used, it really looks like you were part of the planning or commission of the crime, especially since one person said you were all taking turns, or it was your brother's turn. So it kind of makes it look like you were all taking turns.
Wait, take it.
Hold on a second. Anytime a kid is involved in a crime involving a gun here in Tarrant County, and I'm the only juvenile judge in Tarrant County, okay? So anytime there's a crime involving kids and guns, I detain the kids. I need to be comfortable that you don't have access to another gun, that your attitude's the right place, that you can behave. You understand? I'm not saying you can't. I'm just saying I don't know yet. So I detain the kids. I watch your behavior level. I decide whether or not I'm gonna continue to detain you or let you go. You got to get to level 1 outstanding before I consider releasing you. I will let you know, compared to the other 3 that are arrested, the fact that you're under 14 works in your favor. I tend to release children that are under 14 faster than I do children that are over 14. Okay,
yes,
things
sir.
are just different. Here's the thing, Kelton. At the end of the day, I want you to be a kid. I want you to get back on the porch and just be a kid. I don't want you to live the grown-up life. I don't want you to live the street life. And if you keep on insisting that you want to be a thug or live the street life, you're going to stay here for a long time. But if you can show me that you're actually willing to go back and just be a 12-year-old, then that's going to work out in your favor. Okay?
Yes,
so
sir.
I just want to make sure you understand that you have something going for you that the other kids do not. Is that I give a little bit more grace to children when they're extra young because I think you deserve it. But if you insist on being a grown man, I'm going to treat you like a grown man. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So Kelton, I'm detaining you, but you got to get your behavior level up and show me that you can follow the rules and be a good kid. And then I'm not promising I will. I'm just saying I'll consider releasing you. Okay.
Question.
All right. You have a question?
Yes, sir.
Yes. What's your question?
You said something about taking turns. You said I get to ask you that question. Can you finish that? Because I don't know nothing about taking no turn, none of that.
Oh, well, this is not your trial, so nobody has to take time at this point, okay? This is just about detaining you. So what, Kelton, what I have to do is the law says I need to consider certain things. The big things I consider is if I was to let you go, are you a danger to yourself? Which I'm kind of worried about because I don't know if you knew or not, but that police officer that was robbed actually pointed his gun at the car. Or if you're a danger to others, right? Are you going to be involved in other crimes against persons or property? Or are you likely to reappear in court? So those are the big things that I consider. And right now, I don't know yet because there was a gun involved. I can't decide if you're a danger to yourself or danger to others. And so that's why I'm just I'm slowing down. I'm going to pause a bit. I'm going to see how you do here. If you're respectful, you follow the rules, you get to level and outstanding, then that answers some questions for me. Then I have other questions that have to be answered. But the first questions are, can you behave? Okay?
Yeah. Yes, sir.
You have any other questions for me?
No, sir.
Okay. Thank you very much, Mr. Page.
No.
All right, at this point, I will, and the court will make an ongoing finding regarding this child for the hearing to be open to the public, for the interest of the public until the court finds otherwise. At this point, I'm going to turn the docket over to Judge Terry, who will conclude with the 10-day hearings. Thank you, Judge Terry.
Thank you, Judge Kim. Okay, next is Charisma Carter. Hi, Charisma. I'm Judge Terry. This is your 10-day detention hearing, and the purpose of this is to determine whether I can release you to a parent or guardian or if I should keep you detained. You have a right to remain silent. You have a right to an attorney. Your attorney is Catherine Craven. I don't see her here today. And so Mr. Houston, he's there. Dwayne Houston is wearing a plaid shirt with glasses and a mirror behind him. He's your attorney for today.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, let's see. I don't think I have met you yet. You've been here since New Year's Day. You reached level 1 outstanding as of today. You're referred by Wise County Sheriff's Department due to a DTA. You removed your EM back at the end of November. You were not in the home at the time you cut off your EM. You were apprehended in Decatur and transported here by the Wise County Sheriff's Department. Mom says you were in the company of 2 adult males who were using drugs. I think I did meet you before, actually, come to think of it. It's a previous DTA. You've completed 2 terms of probation, well, a term of probation before for possession of controlled substance. You're positive for methamphetamines and for amphetamines when you came in. I have a motion to modify in front of Judge Porter tomorrow. I'm just curious, Ms. Thomas, was there any follow-up on the adult males that she was with?
No, Your Honor.
That hasn't been reported to any authority? No one's investigating that?
Your Honor, I believe when the Wise County Sheriff's Department, and I believe these 2 gentlemen were possibly one was on probation, one was possibly on parole, and the Sheriff's Department was aware of that. They did go to the home and only apprehended Charisma, is the information that I received.
Okay. Okay, Charisma, because you're set in front of Judge Porter tomorrow, and I do think you are likely to abscond, I'm going to detain you and let Judge Porter decide what to do with you tomorrow, your hearing. Thank you.
Thank you.
Do we have a parent or guardian here for her? I didn't see anybody.
No, Your Honor, she is not present. I did email her the Zoom link, but I don't see her on.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, Marco Chesretta.
Yes, ma'am.
Hey, Marco. Seen you before. I'm Judge Terry. Your 10-day detention hearing. Purpose of this is to determine whether I can release you to a parent or guardian if I should keep you detained. You have a right to remain silent. You have a right to an attorney. Your attorney, I believe, was Ms. YYYYY. Is she present? Oh, there she is. Good morning. All right. Well. That's gonna make it easy. You've got the pending offenses of burglary of a habitation of theft of property from back in July, which is the reason you were originally brought in. And then you were referred in, you were referred in custody on October 22nd for an EM violation. Oh, you were adjudicated on October 21st and then released that day and then violated on the 22nd. Positive for marijuana when you came in. Let's see. Psychological evaluation has been done. Fitness evaluation was done earlier this month. You're found fit to proceed. And you're scheduled for court on February 2nd. And you're level 2 outstanding. I was just kind of reading through that to refresh my memory, but you're level 2 outstanding, and so I cannot even consider releasing you today. The fact that you have all these things pending, you were referred back in on EM violations, and you don't behave in the back tells me that you are likely to reoffend, and so I'm going to detain you.
All right, thank you, Judge.
Thank you.
We'll see you next week or so. Thank you, Anna.
Hey, Rashonda Henderson. Good morning, I'm Judge Terry. This is your 10-day detention hearing. Purpose of this is to determine whether I can release you to a parent or guardian, or if I should keep you here detained. You have a right to remain silent. You also have a right to your attorney, and your attorney is Ms. Jacobson, and she is here on the Zoom screen. Do you see her?
No.
I'm right here. Can you see me now?
No, ma'am.
She's wearing a blue shirt.
Can you speak up?
Yes. Is my box lighting up in
There you
yellow?
go. We see you now.
I can see you now.
All right. And is that mom here in the parents' room?
I'm her grandmother.
Grandmother. Okay. Let's see. Let me get. All right. On January 13th, you were referred in custody by Fort Worth PD. After a DTA was issued or picked up on a DTA issued by Judge Kim, he issued it on October 25th. It took over a few months to find you for EM violation and cutting off your monitor. Fort Worth PD arrested you on Dillard Street in Fort Worth without incident. You are currently on probation. Oh, Ms. Henderson, I'm trying to even find what you're on probation for. You've got pages here.
It's the unauthorized use of a motor vehicle and evading arrest with detention. With vehicle.
Yeah, I see that now. And several modifications since then.
Yes, Your Honor, she does have a court hearing that's scheduled before Judge Porter on Monday.
I see that on the 1st. Well, you know what's good, Ms. Henderson? You have been on level 1 outstanding since January 16th, and that will keep some options open for you. However, I do think you are likely to abscond should I release you before your hearing in front of Judge Porter, so I'm going to go ahead and detain you. Thank you.
Thank you, Anna.
Welcome.
Love you, Brianna. I love Shonda.
I love you too.
Dylan Moore?
Yes, ma'am.
I'm Judge Terry. This is your 10-day detention hearing. The purpose of this is to determine whether I should release you to a parent or guardian, or if I should keep you detained here in our facility. You have a right to remain silent. You also have a right to an attorney. Your attorney is Ms. Taylor, I believe. She's right there. Do you see her?
Yes, ma'am.
And Your Honor, may I mention that his grandmother and guardian was on the Zoom feed when we started. Her name is Janet Powell. I think Judge Kim may have excluded her from the Zoom feed because I don't see her at this point. There was an issue with the
Well,
light.
they probably were not following the court's orders regarding their, the courtroom decorum. And so, and maybe they didn't.
Yes, ma'am.
come
Her
back.
microphone was on and there was a light behind her head.
Yeah. All right.
Collins with CPS is here for this hearing. I will let you know.
Which one is?
Shauna Collins from CPS. She's a family-based safety services worker. She is.
Oh, I see her now. Okay, great. Thank you. So is the family, Ms. Collins, is the family currently in FBSS working services? Oh, you're muted, ma'am. In fact, I don't know that your audio is even connected. All right, let me continue on and then we can talk about that in a minute. Let's see, Dylan, I don't know that I have, let's see. First of all, you're level 1 outstanding for the last 6 days, so that is good. You were brought into custody by Grand Prairie PD on November 24th for possession of controlled substance. Less than 1 gram. I guess they received a 911 call from a CPS staff for Mr. and Ms. Collins, indicating she was on the phone with your grandmother and you were punching holes in the wall and throwing items around the hotel room where you lived with her. They heard a female voice pleading for you to stop and calm down. The police were here. And then you saying, I don't give a fuck, and remarking there's going to be spilled blood. I don't give a fuck. The officer announced himself and grandma let him in the hotel room. You were in a rage. You reportedly made verbal resistive threats toward the officer, daring him to tase you. Second officer arrived and the police ordered you to turn around and place your hands behind your back. You complied and were cuffed and escorted to the patrol car. Calm down. The police observed multiple holes punched in the door in the hotel room. And when asked about weapons on your person, you responded that you didn't have any, but you did have a cigar package. As you're a minor, not allowed to possess tobacco product, they completed a search for additional contraband, removing the cigar package from your right front pocket. You claimed it was not yours, but that a friend put it there and asked you to hold it for him. 4 officers actually opened the package. You verbally blurted out that there was a blue pill in it. They opened it, did find a small blue-colored ghost-shaped pill inside, which the officer's training experience suggested could be ecstasy. It was field tested and presumptive positive to be MDMA methamphetamine. You interviewed your grandmother and a young female child in the grandmother's care. Continually ran towards grandma. Climbed towards a third-story railing without intervention or redirection from grandmother, and also that small dogs are present in the hotel room, constantly barking. Grandmother advised Dylan had asked, you had asked her $20 for drug money. She declined, and then you went into a rage and destroyed the hotel room. Officers observed dog feces all over the floor, multiple holes in the walls and interior doors, thrown furniture tipped over, and more. Are currently pending unauthorized use of a motor vehicle from April. And evading arrest with the vehicle from August. I'm not even going to bother reading the rest because it basically just reads that you were just absolutely out of control. It's believed that you continue to take your grandmother's vehicle without permission and disappear for periods of time to believe to be in the Dallas area, and in recent weeks had wrecked the vehicle. You're pending, let's see, you've got a delinquency history from Dallas County. Positive for marijuana when you came in. Psych eval has been completed, psychological has been completed, and There's a placement search pending.
Going on as we speak, Your Honor.
Yeah, it's a couple, it should be any day now, right? Or within the next week, at least it's been a few weeks.
I spoke with the placement supervisor yesterday. He indicated that he's hoping to hear back from all of the placements that he submitted Dylan's packet to by close of business tomorrow, which would be just in the nick of time for his hearing on the 1st.
Okay. That would be good. Okay, so Ms. Collins, hold on, Dylan, I see your hand up. Ms. Collins, is the grandmother currently working FBSS?
Yes, she's currently working at FBSS Services, her and a 6-year-old sibling.
Okay, and is it the department's position right now where you intend to seek removal on Dylan, or what are your plans for Dylan?
Well, the plan that we were hoping, because with the department that they're in with FBSS, I'm not sure if you're aware, but there's no legalities in it.
Yeah, I'm aware.
Yeah, okay. So if he was to be released, then yes, we would be seeking removal if there was nowhere else for that grandma can either put the 6-year-old in placement or Dylan in placement, and we've explored those options and there are none. So then yes, we would be speaking to the legal department about removal if he was released, but hopefully we were hoping that he would be placed in a placement to where he can further his medication management and get the services that he needs, because whenever he's out, his pattern is to not be compliant.
Well, he's out of control. He's running all over grandma. He's running the house there.
Exactly.
So that's what's going on.
Yes,
Dylan, did you have a question for me?
Yes, ma'am. I don't know if you can do this or not, but this is all up to you. If you do release me, can you please put me up on the monitor? Because I've been doing my best. I've been listening. I've been monitoring. I've been doing everything.
Well, it looks to me, Dylan, like you've been doing your best for the last 6 days. I can see that. And so that is going to help you come your hearing time. I see your certificates, but the problem that I have here is the pattern of behavior you've been exhibiting before tells me that you are completely out of control and that you need treatment, okay? I'm not looking to punish you by keeping you here. I'm looking to be able to make it so that services are available to you to help you. Because right now you are running all over grandma and doing whatever it is that you want and ruining your own life. And it's not all your fault. I mean, you need some help. And so we're gonna provide that for you. And you have a hearing set for Monday. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna continue. You see, you keep speaking out of turn. And you know, here's the thing I noticed during this hearing, you're slouched back in your chair, you're not paying attention, you're not sitting up straight. But now when you wanna talk, you're sitting up straight, okay? So you're not in control here. I need you to understand that. You need to get control of yourself and take this opportunity to heart, because you are probably going to be ordered to do some things here coming up next week, okay? And those are the things that are going to be treatment. An EM is not going to help you right now. You need treatment. And so, because I do think you're likely to abscond and reoffend, I don't think you'll even be able to come back Monday if I were to release you before your hearing. You are going to be detained today, okay? Thank you.
Yeah, you be excused, Your Honor.
Yes, thank you, Ms. Taylor.
Thank you.
All right, Jimmy Miguraneza. Hi, Jimmy, I'm Judge Terry. This is your 10-day detention hearing. This hearing every 10 business days to determine whether I can release you to a parent or guardian, if I should keep you here detained. You have a right to remain silent, and you also have a right to an attorney, and your attorney is Mr. Youngblood. Is that right? Yes.
Good morning, Judge.
Do you see him here on Zoom?
Yo, I was gonna ask him if he can call me.
Jimmy, do you see him here on Zoom?
Yo.
Excuse me?
Yes.
Okay. Is there a parent or guardian here for him today?
No, Your Honor. I'm covering for Officer Castillo.
Okay.
Was called in sick.
Okay.
I'm gonna be able to make it.
All right. So he's actually here on a violation of a court order. Picked up a new offense. January 2nd, when Fort Worth PD was dispatched to a robbery call. Victim was cleaning his vehicle. Two black males walked past his home. He observed them turn back around, approaching his vehicle. Victim confronted them both, told them to get away from his vehicle. Then the accomplice pointed a semi-automatic weapon from inside of his jacket and told the victim to open the door. Victim said no. At that time that the accomplice pulled the slide back a pistol and released it. Oh yeah, we have your accomplice here today still too. Your companion. The fact that I have to flip through pages, Jimmy, just to get to what I need to know on yours tells me that you are likely to reoffend. You're on court order probation when this occurred, positive for marijuana and cocaine when you came in, out there using guns again, and you're on level 2 outstanding anyway, so I have to detain you. Thank you.
I could ask my attorney something right quick.
He can call you.
Your Honor, if I might, I know that you've been calling me. I'm having some internet problems. They're supposed to fix it today. I'm amazed this hearing didn't crash on me. I will try to call you this afternoon.
All right.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, Mr. Youngblood. All right, Jamarian Ransom. Trying to release somebody today.
Your Honor, we have Dallas County JPD for this case and CPS.
Okay, who's here from CPS on this case?
His name is Raymond Bell.
Oh, hey, hi, Mr. Bell. And I see Dallas County, if you're here, if you can go ahead and turn your camera on. All right, you're on probation in Dallas. Oh, first of all, I'm Judge Terry. This is your 10-day detention hearing, and the purpose of this is to determine whether I can release you back into CPS care, or if I should keep you here detained. You have a right to remain silent. And you have a right to an attorney. Your attorney is Mr. Houston here. Do you see him? All right. You're on probation for assault public servant out of Dallas County. They have an active DTA on you. Now, this is a robbery at the Metro PCS store back on December 16th in Arlington. Two store clerks, two customers inside the store gave descriptions of two black males who stole one customer's purse and cash out of the register. Suspects then forced all three victims to the back room where the safe was and instructed the clerk to put all iPhones located in the safe into a duffel bag. Clerk did that and was able to slip a dummy tracker phone into the bag as well. Both suspects were brandishing handguns. Officers located a tracker phone via GPS and located both suspects in a Cadillac Escalade. All stolen merchandise was located, and you were found to be with a stolen firearm, unknown if loaded. You initially gave officers a false name and date of birth. Then they determined that you were listed as a runaway out of Dallas County and to be on probation with Dallas JPD. Other suspect was 17, Mr. Mack, who was in possession of a loaded firearm listed as stolen. You have two incidents of assault causing bodily injury, family member out of Dallas, runaway, and assault public servant. Active DTA out of Dallas. Scheduled for adjudication dispo on the 12th here. All right, I think Judge Kim saw him the last time. I vaguely remember the details from that detention hearing. What does Dallas County want to do with him?
Your Honor, we're seeking transfer disposition. So if you guys will adjudicate and then transfer the disposition to us, we will continue.
Okay, that's what I kind of thought we were gonna do. So we're gonna,
Yes.
and then, did you have anything to add today, Mr. Bell?
No, Your Honor, I don't.
Was he in a placement before, in a CPS placement prior to being brought in here?
He was in a relative placement.
Is a relative placement, okay. Well, I guess he blew that one.
Unfortunately so.
All right, Mr. Ransom, due to your history, it appears to me that you are most likely going to reoffend if you were to be released, and so I'm going to go ahead and detain you. You've got a hearing come up in just a few weeks. All right, thank you. And that concludes today's detention docket. You're welcome. Everybody have a good day.